The art of silence, once a powerful tool in human interaction, has faded into obscurity in our modern world, filled with ceaseless noise and chatter. Yet silence holds an incredible strength, often as potent as the words we choose to speak. How often do we truly reflect on the power of our silence, on the ways it shapes us, and communicates more than we might imagine? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy rooted in reason and emotional mastery, illuminates the profound impact silence can have. Its teachings invite us to exercise restraint, choosing our words with care, and allowing silence to fill the gaps where wisdom is most needed. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, wisely noted that it is better to stumble with one's feet than with one's tongue. This reminder urges us to consider the countless times we've regretted hasty words spoken in moments of anger or frustration. Silence, in the Stoic tradition, is not mere absence of sound, but an intentional act of strength and purpose. It provides a shield against unnecessary conflict, a balm for understanding, and a space for growth. Imagine navigating life's trials with the quiet assurance that your silence could convey more depth and resolve than any words could muster. It is this measured stillness that can diffuse tension, protect our inner peace, and transform our relationships. But when should silence become our guide? This journey into the strategic use of silence unveils its life-changing applications, encouraging us to rethink how and when we choose to hold our tongues. Picture the difference it could make in a heated argument if you chose calm, deliberate silence over fiery retorts. Imagine the statement made by a composed pause in a sea of heated criticism. The lessons of Stoicism beckon us to explore these moments with curiosity and discipline. When faced with unfair criticism, for example, silence becomes a vessel for resilience and composure. Stoicism teaches that the sting of unfair words lies not in the words themselves, but in how we perceive them. Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic, reminds us that external events do not harm us. Rather, it is our reaction to them that causes distress. With this perspective, criticism loses its power to wound, allowing us to sift through it for nuggets of truth while discarding the rest. Instead of rushing to defend or retaliate, a measured silence enables us to process, reflect, and respond from a place of strength. Consider the workplace scenario of presenting a project only to have it met with harsh, unwarranted critique. A Stoic response involves separating ego from the situation, calmly assessing the feedback for its merits, and letting your work speak for itself. Silence here is not passive submission, but an active stance of self-assurance, demonstrating that your value is not diminished by another's opinion. In the face of boastfulness, silence can convey a quiet confidence that no amount of words could replicate. At social gatherings or professional events, it's tempting to counter others' grandiosity with our own stories of success. Yet, Stoicism advises restraint, suggesting that true confidence lies in allowing your achievements to shine without verbal adornment. By choosing silence, you create space for meaningful exchanges rather than engaging in competitive narratives. The transformative power of silence also emerges in moments of anger. Anger often feels like a tempest, urging us to unleash words we may later regret. Yet, in the eye of this storm, silence offers a refuge. Epicurus, another Stoic thinker, advises speaking only when necessary, a lesson that serves us well in moments of fury. By pausing before reacting, we regain control over our emotions, avoiding the harm that rash words might cause. Imagine confronting a situation where a colleague's mistake results in hours of extra work. The initial wave of frustration may tempt you to lash out, but choosing silence grants you the time to cool down, assess the situation objectively, and address it constructively. Silence here is a bridge to resolution, turning conflict into an opportunity for collaboration. When rumors swirl, silence becomes a declaration of dignity and trust in the truth. Choosing not to engage with falsehoods reflects a steadfast confidence that time will reveal the reality. Instead of fueling the fire with denials or rebuttals, a quiet composure speaks volumes, allowing actions and integrity to stand as the ultimate defense. Silence also becomes a sanctuary in the face of loss. The grief of losing something or someone dear often demands words that fail to capture the depth of our emotions. Stoicism teaches that silence allows us to sit with our pain, to feel it fully without rushing to suppress or explain it. In this stillness, we find the strength to process, heal, and grow. Reflective silence during grief mirrors the Stoic principle of viewing life's events as part of a greater natural order. By embracing loss as a shift rather than an end, we honor the transient beauty of life and the memories it leaves behind. This approach doesn't diminish the pain but reframes it, transforming sorrow into a source of resilience and understanding. And what of ignorance, that stubborn presence in our daily lives? Encountering it can be frustrating, yet Stoicism reminds us to approach such moments with patience and grace. Galileo's silence in the face of opposition to his revolutionary discoveries offers a timeless lesson. Truth needs no defense other than its existence. By choosing silence, we rise above the noise, anchoring ourselves in wisdom rather than conflict. The power of silence also shines in confronting injustice. Stoicism teaches that our greatest strength lies in our response, not the external events themselves. Leaders like Nelson Mandela demonstrated this principle by meeting oppression with strategic calm, channeling their silence into a force for transformative change. Such silence is not inaction, but a deliberate act of defiance against chaos, a preparation for meaningful action. Finally, in the face of insults, silence allows us to maintain our composure and integrity. Gandhi's quiet resistance to verbal and physical attacks exemplifies this approach, turning aggression into an opportunity for self-mastery and higher purpose. In choosing silence, we refuse to let others dictate our emotional state, reclaiming control over our own reactions. Through these examples, silence emerges not as a void, but as a profound tool for navigating life's challenges. It shields us from unnecessary conflict, fosters introspection, and elevates our interactions. As we embrace the wisdom of Stoicism, may we find in silence not only peace but also strength, letting it guide us toward a life of purpose and fulfillment. Silence, often seen as mere absence, holds a profound power that transcends words. It is a deliberate choice, a force that can guide our actions, shape our responses, and transform our interactions. In moments of criticism, conflict, or uncertainty, it serves as a cornerstone of resilience, composure, and wisdom. The teachings of Stoicism remind us that silence is not simply passive, it is an active, strategic choice that speaks volumes. Imagine a heated argument where emotions flare and words fly recklessly. In such moments, silence can act as a calming tide, tempering the chaos. When confronted with anger, our first instinct may be to retaliate with sharp words, but Stoicism teaches us to pause. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, reflected on how anger often magnifies the harm far beyond the original offense. By choosing silence in such situations, we step out of the cycle of provocation and escalation, reclaiming our emotional equilibrium. Picture a workplace disagreement where a colleague unfairly questions your efforts or intentions. The temptation to defend yourself, to counter every false claim with an explanation, can be overwhelming. Yet, silence here is a shield, a means to let the truth reveal itself over time. It is not about surrender, but about preserving your energy for actions that matter. Responding with quiet composure demonstrates self-assurance, showing that your worth is not dependent on others' validation or misjudgment. Even in the face of boastfulness, silence wields an undeniable strength. Think of a networking event where someone is recounting their achievements with exaggerated flair. The natural impulse might be to chime in with your own stories of success, to match their energy with equal enthusiasm. But Stoicism encourages restraint, reminding us that true confidence needs no outward display. By remaining silent, you exude an aura of assuredness, letting your accomplishments speak through your actions rather than words. This kind of silence creates a space for meaningful connections, stripping away the superficial competition that often colors such interactions. It invites reflection, offering a moment to evaluate whether the exchange is driven by genuine connection or by the need for validation. In this way, silence becomes a mirror, reflecting not only your confidence, but also the depth of your character. In moments of loss, silence transforms into a sanctuary. Grief is an overwhelming force, one that often defies articulation. When words fail, silence offers a space to process the magnitude of what has been lost. Stoicism teaches that loss is not an aberration, but an intrinsic part of life's natural flow. By sitting with the silence that follows, we honor both the pain and the joy that came before it. Consider the story of a woman who lost her job unexpectedly after years of dedicated service. Amid the flurry of advice, sympathy, and questions, she chose to retreat into silence, using it as a space to reflect and recalibrate. This pause allowed her to discern her path forward, unclouded by external noise. In this silence, she found clarity, recognizing new opportunities where despair had initially taken root. Stoicism's perspective on loss invites us to view such moments not as endings, but as transitions. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, reminded us that life is a series of borrowed moments, each one fleeting and precious. By embracing the silence that comes with grief, we allow ourselves to mourn while also preparing to rebuild. This silence is not about denial, but about acceptance, a quiet acknowledgement of life's impermanence and beauty. Silence also holds a transformative power when dealing with ignorance. Encountering someone deeply convinced of a flawed belief can be a test of patience and composure. Yet, as Galileo demonstrated during his lifetime, silence in such moments can speak louder than argument. Confronted with staunch opposition to his heliocentric theories, he chose to let his work and evidence stand as testimony to the truth. His silence was not an act of submission, but a powerful assertion of confidence in his discoveries. In a similar vein, imagine a conversation with a friend or family member who holds a view you know to be misguided. The urge to correct them, to engage in a debate, is strong. But Stoicism teaches us that not all battles need to be fought. By choosing silence, you create a space for reflection, for both yourself and the other person. This quiet can often be more impactful than any argument, fostering mutual understanding rather than discord. Even in moments of perceived injustice, silence serves as a powerful tool. The story of Nelson Mandela offers a profound example. Imprisoned for decades, subjected to unimaginable hardship, Mandela chose a path of reconciliation over retribution. His silence was not about acquiescence, but about preparation, a deliberate choice to focus on building a foundation for lasting change. When the time came, his words carried the weight of years of quiet strength, resonating far beyond the confines of his immediate world. Mandela's story exemplifies the Stoic belief that we have power over our responses, even in the face of external adversity. By choosing silence in moments of injustice, we create room for strategic action and meaningful change. It is a lesson in restraint and focus, reminding us to channel our energy toward constructive solutions rather than reactive outbursts. Rumors, too, find their antidote in silence. When faced with falsehoods, the instinct to defend ourselves can be overwhelming, yet responding often lends credibility to the very rumors we wish to dispel. Silence, in such cases, is a declaration of self-trust, a refusal to let others' words dictate your reality. Over time, the truth has a way of surfacing, and your consistent character becomes its strongest advocate. Imagine a community leader accused of ulterior motives in their advocacy work. Instead of addressing each whisper, they remain steadfast in their mission, letting their actions speak for their integrity. Over time, their silence disarms detractors and strengthens their supporters' trust. This approach, deeply rooted in Stoic principles, highlights the enduring power of silence to preserve dignity and truth. Through all these scenarios, silence emerges as more than a response. It becomes a philosophy, a way of navigating life's complexities with grace and intention. It teaches us to pause, to listen, and to choose our actions with care. In embracing silence, we discover not only its transformative power, but also its profound capacity to guide us toward inner peace and wisdom. Silence, when understood as an intentional act, becomes a guiding force capable of reshaping our perspective, reactions, and connections with the world. It is a quiet strength, unyielding and profound, that allows us to navigate moments of conflict, misunderstanding, or even triumph with clarity and purpose. The Stoic philosophy elevates silence as a strategic choice, one that carries immense power in every facet of life. In the throes of anger, silence acts as a stabilizing anchor. Anger, with its tumultuous energy, can cloud judgment and propel us toward regrettable actions. Yet when we resist the pull to speak in anger, silence grants us space to assess the situation and ourselves. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the effects of anger often surpass the harm of the original provocation. This insight prompts us to weigh the consequences of our words before unleashing them. Imagine an argument with a loved one, where emotions escalate rapidly. In such a moment, choosing silence may feel counterintuitive, even unnatural, but silence, in its deliberate stillness, breaks the cycle of escalation. It allows you to return to the conversation with composure, fostering understanding rather than further division. This pause becomes an offering, a chance to shift the dynamic from reactive to reflective, transforming potential harm into an opportunity for connection. Stoicism also reveals silence as a tool of resilience in the face of criticism. Criticism, especially when unfair, often provokes defensiveness. But what if, instead of responding with justification or rebuttal, we embraced quiet confidence? This act is not an admission of guilt, but an acknowledgement of our own integrity. By refusing to engage with baseless critique, we demonstrate a mastery over our emotions and a faith in our character. Consider the public figure who becomes a target of relentless scrutiny. Each comment, each critique, could be met with an exhaustive defense. Yet, the most impactful response is often no response at all. By remaining silent, they shift the focus from words to actions, allowing their work and values to speak louder than any explanation. This approach is a testament to the Stoic belief that true strength lies in controlling what is within our power, our actions, our responses, and our inner state. Silence, however, is not only for moments of conflict or defense. It is equally powerful when faced with the lure of boastfulness. We live in a world that often equates loud declarations with success, where self-promotion is mistaken for self-worth. Yet Stoicism teaches that true confidence requires no such display. In the presence of someone boasting about their achievements, silence becomes a quiet declaration of self-assurance. It signals a contentment that does not rely on external validation or comparison. Imagine a social gathering where a peer brags incessantly about their accomplishments. The temptation to interject with your own stories, to match their energy, can be strong. But silence here speaks volumes. It reflects a secure individual who is not swayed by the need to compete. This choice not only preserves your energy, but also elevates the conversation, allowing for a deeper connection untainted by superficial one-upmanship. The Stoic embrace of silence extends to times of grief and loss, moments where words often fail to capture the depth of our experience. Loss, in its rawness, demands space for reflection and healing. Silence becomes a sanctuary, a place where emotions can flow freely without judgment or interruption. By sitting with our grief, rather than drowning it in noise or distractions, we honor both the pain and the love that preceded it. Consider the story of a family navigating the loss of a beloved member. Amid the condolences and well-meaning advice, they choose to retreat into silence together, finding solace in shared memories and quiet reflection. This pause becomes a powerful act of healing, allowing each person to process their emotions in their own way. Stoicism teaches that this silence is not about avoidance, but about acceptance, acknowledging the impermanence of life and finding meaning in its transitions. In dealing with ignorance, silence transforms into a profound act of wisdom. Engaging with unfounded beliefs or arguments can often feel futile, even maddening. Yet, as Galileo's example illustrates, silence can convey an unshakable confidence in truth. When faced with opposition to his revolutionary ideas, Galileo let his work stand as testament, choosing not to waste his energy on debates that would not alter reality. Imagine encountering someone vehemently committed to a flawed perspective. The urge to correct them, to present counter-arguments, is natural, but silence here becomes a gift, not to the ignorance itself, but to your own peace of mind. By refusing to engage in futile conflict, you conserve your energy for pursuits that matter, demonstrating a quiet confidence in your own understanding. The same principle applies when confronted with injustice. Silence in the face of wrongdoing is not about passive acceptance, but about strategic action. Nelson Mandela's journey offers a powerful illustration of this idea. His silence during years of imprisonment was not submission, but preparation, a deliberate choice to focus on healing and unity rather than retaliation. When the time came to speak, his words carried the weight of that quiet strength, transforming a nation. Mandela's story reveals a profound truth. Silence can be a precursor to transformative action. It allows us to center ourselves, to plan with intention, and to act with purpose. In this way, silence becomes a tool for justice, a means of addressing wrongs with clarity and resolve rather than reactionary outbursts. Even in the face of rumors, silence proves its worth. False narratives have a way of spiraling out of control, fueled by reactions that give them weight. By choosing silence, we deny these rumors the validation they seek. This quiet defiance is not about ignoring the situation, but about placing trust in the truth and in the consistency of our character. Imagine a leader accused of self-serving motives in their advocacy work. Instead of addressing each claim, they focus on their mission, letting their actions speak louder than any words. Over time, their integrity becomes evident, disarming critics and inspiring supporters. This approach, rooted in Stoic principles, reminds us that silence can be the most eloquent response. Through these examples, silence emerges as a force of immense power, not a void, but a presence that shapes interactions, diffuses conflict, and fosters growth. It invites us to pause, to reflect, and to act with intention. In embracing silence, we unlock its transformative potential, discovering a path to wisdom, resilience, and inner peace. Silence, though often overlooked, carries with it a remarkable potential to heal, protect, and empower. It acts as a stabilizing force amid chaos, a tool for introspection, and a bridge to understanding. In a world driven by relentless communication and impulsive reactions, the deliberate choice to embrace silence can be a profound act of strength and wisdom. Stoicism offers timeless guidance on how to harness this power, not as an escape, but as a purposeful response to life's challenges. Consider the moments when we face criticism, especially the kind that is baseless or unfair. Our first instinct might be to defend ourselves, to correct the narrative, or to prove others wrong. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that not every battle is worth fighting. By choosing silence, we reclaim control over our emotions and actions, letting our integrity speak louder than any defense. Silence in these moments is not passive surrender. It is an active statement of confidence and resilience. Imagine standing before a group of colleagues, presenting your ideas, only to be met with unwarranted criticism. The urge to retaliate or justify yourself can be overwhelming. But what if, instead, you allowed the criticism to settle, acknowledged it calmly, and moved forward without engaging in conflict? This choice demonstrates a deep self-assurance, signaling that your value does not hinge on others' opinions. Over time, your consistent actions and steadfast character will dispel doubts far more effectively than any words could. Stoic silence also finds its place when we encounter arrogance or boastfulness. In these situations, responding in kind, by trying to outdo or overshadow the other person, often leads to hollow exchanges that neither satisfy nor uplift. Instead, silence offers a subtle but powerful alternative. It conveys a quiet confidence, an assurance that you do not need to seek validation through comparison. Imagine a gathering where someone dominates the conversation with tales of their successes, achievements, or possessions. You might feel compelled to share your own accomplishments to balance the dynamic. But by choosing silence, you create a different impression, one of humility and self-awareness. Your silence invites reflection, fostering deeper connections rather than competitive displays. In this way, silence becomes not just a reaction, but a choice to prioritize meaningful interaction over superficial posturing. The strength of silence is particularly evident in moments of grief. Loss, in all its forms, often leaves us searching for words that can never fully capture the depth of our pain. Silence, however, offers a space where healing can begin. It allows us to sit with our emotions, to honor the loss without rushing to explain or resolve it. In this stillness, we find clarity, acceptance, and ultimately growth. Consider a family mourning the loss of a loved one. While words of comfort and shared memories have their place, it is often in the quiet moments, sitting together, reflecting, or simply being present, that the deepest connections are felt. Silence becomes a shared language of understanding, a way to process grief that transcends the limitations of speech. Stoicism teaches us to embrace this silence, not as a void, but as a necessary part of the healing journey. In moments of conflict or misunderstanding, silence can diffuse tension and open the door to resolution. Anger and frustration often lead to words spoken in haste, words that escalate the situation rather than soothe it. By choosing silence, we give ourselves time to reflect and respond thoughtfully. This pause can transform a heated argument into a constructive conversation, fostering understanding rather than division. Imagine a scenario where a close friend misinterprets your actions, leading to a heated exchange. Responding immediately, fueled by your own hurt or frustration, might only deepen the rift. But taking a step back, allowing silence to create space for reflection, can change the dynamic. When you return to the conversation with clarity and calm, you are more likely to repair the relationship and find common ground. The power of silence extends beyond personal interactions to moments when we encounter ignorance or falsehoods. Engaging in fruitless debates with those unwilling to listen or consider alternative perspectives often leads to frustration and wasted energy. Stoicism teaches us to recognize the limits of our influence and to focus on what we can control, our own responses and actions. Consider Galileo's approach when confronted with opposition to his scientific discoveries. Despite facing intense resistance and even persecution, he chose to let his work stand as a testament to the truth. His silence was not a retreat, but a statement of unwavering confidence in his findings. This example reminds us that silence, when paired with integrity, can be a powerful response to ignorance. In the face of injustice, silence can serve as a tool for preparation and strategic action. Nelson Mandela's years of imprisonment are a poignant example of this principle. Rather than succumbing to anger or despair, Mandela used his time to reflect, plan, and build the foundation for a movement that would reshape his nation. His silence during those years was not inaction, but a deliberate choice to channel his energy into meaningful change. Mandela's story illustrates a critical aspect of Stoic silence: its ability to transform adversity into strength. By focusing on what he could control, his thoughts, his plans, and his commitment to his cause, he turned his silence into a force for reconciliation and justice. This approach challenges us to view silence not as passive acceptance, but as a powerful tool for achieving long-term goals. Even in the realm of rumors and gossip, silence proves its worth. When faced with falsehoods, the instinct to defend ourselves can often amplify the very rumors we wish to dispel. Instead, silence allows us to rise above the noise, trusting that the truth will prevail. This choice reflects a deep inner confidence, one that is not swayed by external perceptions. Imagine a leader accused of ulterior motives in their advocacy work. By remaining silent and continuing their mission with integrity, they allow their actions to speak for themselves. Over time, their consistency and dedication erode the credibility of the rumors, leaving only the truth. This approach demonstrates the enduring power of Stoic silence to protect one's character and focus. Through all these scenarios, silence emerges as a profound tool for navigating life's complexities. It is not a passive absence, but an intentional presence, a choice to act with wisdom and purpose. In embracing silence, we cultivate resilience, foster understanding, and discover a deeper connection to ourselves and others. It is through this quiet strength that we find clarity, peace, and the power to transform our lives. Silence, when wielded with intention, becomes a masterful tool for navigating life's complexities. It holds a quiet power, offering us clarity when emotions run high, protection in the face of falsehoods, and strength during moments of adversity. In Stoicism, silence is not merely the absence of words, it is an active choice, a demonstration of control, composure, and focus on what truly matters. In moments of anger, silence serves as both a shield and a compass. Anger often compels us to speak impulsively, unleashing words that can damage relationships or escalate conflicts. But the Stoic approach reminds us that silence in anger is not suppression, it is strategy. Marcus Aurelius observed that most of the harm from anger comes not from the cause of the emotion, but from our reaction to it. By choosing silence, we reclaim our power, allowing the storm of emotion to pass before taking action. Imagine a family argument where a misunderstanding spirals into accusations. Speaking out in frustration might feel like the easiest response, but silence offers a different path. It gives you a chance to pause, to understand the underlying emotions, and to respond with empathy rather than defensiveness. This measured silence can de-escalate tensions, paving the way for reconciliation rather than resentment. Silence also becomes a sanctuary when faced with criticism, especially the kind that is unwarranted or intended to provoke. Reacting defensively often gives weight to the critique, whereas a composed silence reflects confidence and emotional strength. In Stoic philosophy, criticism is seen as an opportunity, not to defend yourself, but to reflect on whether the feedback holds any truth, and to grow from it, if possible. Consider a scenario where a colleague challenges your competence in a meeting, perhaps out of jealousy or misunderstanding. While the instinct might be to defend yourself immediately, silence can be far more effective. By listening calmly, you demonstrate poise, signaling that their words have not unsettled you. Later, your consistent performance will speak louder than any immediate rebuttal could, showcasing your capabilities without needing verbal validation. Stoic silence also shines in situations where others seek to boast or elevate themselves. In a society that often equates self-promotion with success, choosing silence in the face of boastfulness can be a radical act of self-assurance. It is a quiet declaration that your worth is not dependent on external recognition or comparison. Imagine attending a professional event where a peer dominates the conversation with exaggerated accounts of their achievements. It might be tempting to counter with your own stories, but silence here becomes a statement of confidence. Your calm presence conveys that you are secure in your accomplishments, valuing substance over spectacle. This choice not only preserves your energy, but also fosters authenticity in your interactions, elevating the overall dynamic. In times of loss, silence transforms into a profound companion. Grief, with its depth and complexity, often defies expression. Words can feel inadequate, and efforts to fill the void with chatter or distraction may only delay the healing process. Silence, however, allows us to sit with our emotions, to acknowledge the pain without resistance, and to honor the significance of what has been lost. Consider a person mourning the end of a cherished relationship. In the immediate aftermath, advice and encouragement from others can feel overwhelming. Choosing silence, spending time in introspection, or simply allowing emotions to surface offers a way to process the experience authentically. Stoicism teaches us that loss is an inevitable part of life's natural rhythm. Embracing silence during these moments helps us accept impermanence, finding meaning and strength in the transitions. Silence also plays a transformative role when confronted with ignorance or misinformation. Engaging in debates with those unwilling to listen or consider other perspectives often leads to frustration. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, our responses, not the beliefs or actions of others. By choosing silence, we disengage from futile arguments, conserving our energy for pursuits that align with our values. Imagine a heated conversation where someone refuses to acknowledge clear evidence or reason. Attempting to change their mind might feel like a moral obligation, but it often results in a fruitless back and forth. Silence, in this context, becomes an act of wisdom. It demonstrates that you recognize the futility of the argument while preserving your peace of mind. Over time, your consistent adherence to truth and reason may influence others far more than immediate confrontation ever could. The power of silence becomes even more profound in the face of injustice. Nelson Mandela's life offers an enduring example of this principle. During his imprisonment, Mandela chose silence as a tool, not of submission, but of preparation and reflection. His silence allowed him to gather his strength, focus his purpose, and ultimately transform his suffering into a powerful movement for reconciliation and equality. This approach underscores a key tenet of Stoicism, that we cannot control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. By embracing silence in the face of injustice, we channel our energy toward meaningful action rather than reactionary outbursts. This silence is not a passive acceptance of wrongdoing. It is a deliberate pause that enables us to act with purpose and clarity when the time is right. Even when faced with rumors or false accusations, silence holds immense power. Engaging directly with rumors often amplifies them, giving them an unintended validation. By choosing not to respond, we communicate a quiet confidence that transcends the noise. This silence places trust in the truth and in the consistency of our character. Imagine a leader targeted by baseless gossip. Rather than addressing each rumor, they continue their work with unwavering integrity, letting their actions speak for themselves. Over time, the strength of their character becomes evident, and the rumors lose their impact. This approach aligns with the Stoic principle that we are defined not by others' opinions, but by our own actions and values. Through all these scenarios, silence emerges as a transformative force. It is not a void or a surrender, but an active choice, a decision to prioritize wisdom, composure, and authenticity over impulsiveness. In embracing silence, we find a path to greater clarity, resilience, and connection, navigating life's challenges with the strength of a deeply rooted philosophy. It is through this quiet mastery that we uncover not only peace, but also the profound power to shape our lives and inspire those around us. Silence is more than the absence of sound. It is a profound expression of control, clarity, and strength. It enables us to step back from the noise of the world and the chaos of our emotions, providing a space to think, reflect, and choose our actions wisely. In Stoicism, silence is a discipline, a tool for navigating life's complexities with grace and resilience. Through its deliberate use, we can cultivate inner peace, foster understanding, and transform challenges into opportunities for growth. Consider the moments when silence is the only appropriate response to insult or provocation. Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us that if someone provokes us, our reaction is a choice. The insult itself has no power until we give it weight by responding. Choosing silence in such moments is not weakness but strength. It is an act of self-mastery that allows us to rise above the pettiness of the situation. Imagine a confrontation with a colleague or acquaintance who lashes out in frustration or anger. The natural impulse might be to respond in kind, to defend yourself, or counter their aggression. But silence becomes a powerful alternative. By withholding a reaction, you refuse to escalate the conflict, signaling instead that you are in control of your emotions. Over time, this composure not only protects your peace, but also earns the respect of those around you, showcasing your ability to remain steady in the face of provocation. Silence also carries weight in moments of uncertainty. When faced with situations where words could add confusion or exacerbate tensions, a thoughtful pause allows us to assess the landscape before making decisions. This silence is not about hesitation, but about discernment, a way of ensuring that our words and actions align with our principles and intentions. Imagine a leader addressing a crisis where the stakes are high and emotions are charged. Speaking too soon, without a clear understanding of the situation, could lead to misunderstandings or further complications. Choosing silence in the initial moments allows them to gather information, reflect on their values, and deliver a response that is measured, thoughtful, and impactful. This approach embodies the Stoic ideal of acting with intention rather than impulse. Silence in the face of arrogance or self-importance can also be a profound expression of confidence. In a world that often rewards boastfulness, Choosing not to engage in self-promotion or competition sets you apart. It signals that your worth is not contingent on others' opinions or comparisons. This quiet confidence invites authenticity and deeper connections, creating an atmosphere where meaningful relationships can thrive. Picture a scenario at a social event where someone dominates the conversation with stories of their achievements, subtly or overtly seeking validation. The temptation to share your own successes to balance the dynamic can be strong. Yet silence here becomes a declaration of security, a way to disengage from the cycle of comparison and focus instead on the value of the interaction itself. This choice not only preserves your energy, but also shifts the tone of the conversation, fostering a sense of mutual respect and genuine engagement. In times of loss, silence takes on a different role, becoming a space for healing and introspection. Grief is a universal human experience, one that often leaves us searching for words to express the inexpressible. Yet Stoicism teaches us to embrace the silence that accompanies loss, to sit with our pain and let it unfold naturally. This silence allows us to honor the depth of our emotions and the significance of what we have lost. Consider a family grieving the passing of a loved one. While kind words and shared memories offer comfort, it is often the silent moments of simply being together that bring the most profound solace. These pauses allow each person to process their emotions in their own way, creating a shared space of understanding and connection. Stoicism encourages us to see these moments not as voids, but as opportunities to reflect on life's impermanence and the beauty of the time we have. Imagine encountering someone steadfastly clinging to a mistaken belief, despite clear evidence to the contrary. The impulse to correct them, to present counter-arguments, is strong, but silence here becomes a choice to prioritize your peace and focus on actions that matter. Over time, your quiet adherence to reason and truth may speak more powerfully than any immediate attempt at persuasion. Silence also becomes a strategic response in the face of injustice. It is not about passivity, but about preparation, gathering strength, clarifying intentions, and planning meaningful action. Nelson Mandela's journey exemplifies this principle. During his years of imprisonment, Mandela used silence to reflect, to grow, and to prepare for the transformative work he would undertake upon his release. His silence was not submission, but an active resistance, a refusal to let anger or despair dictate his actions. Mandela's example reminds us that silence can be a form of resistance, a way to reclaim our agency in the face of oppression or hardship. It allows us to rise above immediate reactions, channeling our energy into purposeful action. This approach aligns with the Stoic belief that while we cannot control external events, we can always control our responses. Finally, silence proves invaluable in moments when rumors or gossip swirl around us. Engaging directly with rumors often amplifies them, giving them a life they might not otherwise have. Stoicism teaches us to trust in the consistency of our character and the truth of our actions. By remaining silent, we deny rumors the validation they seek, allowing our integrity to stand as the ultimate refutation. Imagine a professional environment where false narratives begin to circulate about your intentions or actions. While addressing each accusation might feel necessary, silence offers a more powerful response. Continuing to act with integrity and focus on your work demonstrates your true character far more effectively than any defense could. Over time, this consistency erodes the credibility of the rumors, leaving only the truth. Through these examples, silence emerges as a multifaceted force, one that protects, empowers, and clarifies. It is not an absence, but a presence, a deliberate choice that reflects wisdom, strength, and focus. In embracing silence, we align ourselves with the principles of Stoicism, finding in it a pathway to resilience, understanding, and peace. It is through this quiet mastery that we navigate life's challenges, transforming them into opportunities for growth and connection.